Hey, Merriment Makers, welcome back to the podcast where we are going to refuse to let our lives get dull or predictable or controlled by rules that don't serve us today. Support us. I don't like when people say serve us. Anyway, I'm Mary England, and today we are talking about rebellion, but like the fun kind. Not the full, all blown, burn it all down, I've made some questionable life choices kind of rebellion, but the tiny, delicious, mischievous acts of defiance that make life feel less suffocating. That kind. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like most of us follow way too many rules that we never really agreed to or even thought about why they exist. And today we're going to talk about why micro rebellions make life better and how to shake things up in your daily routine, and actually some science about why breaking tiny rules might be good for your brain. And if this episode lights something up inside of you, you're gonna really like what we're doing over in the Positive Pulse. That's my free community where you can access the Jumpstart Your Joy class, and that actually covers rebellion on the 4th day of the class. And that's really, honestly, I feel like rebellion is a form of self-care. There's so many ways to do this, but anyway, the Jumpstart Your Joy class, Positive Pulse, it's completely free, and we just moved it over to this new platform called Mighty Network, so you can access it on your phone and the desktop, and there are new people going in there every day. Honestly, I'm so excited every time their little dings happen. It's really great. I've never had my sound notifications turned on for anything else in my life. I hate all the sounds, but this one's very delightful for me. But you can sign up now. It's completely free, and I'll drop the details at the end and then show notes on customary.org. Let's go. William James said, "As each passing year converts some of our experiences into automatic routine, which we hardly note at all, the days and weeks smooth themselves out, and the years grow hollow and collapse." Damn, dude, that sounds really unsettling, right? Like, we were not meant to live on autopilot. But the reality is that the more we repeat these same actions, the less our brain registers them as meaningful. It's like having a vision board up, mood board. And over time, you don't really get inspired by it. Or a sticky note. It doesn't really register as something that's alarming on your wall. So what that's called is pattern separation. And it's the reason why our childhood and teenage years feel so full of vivid memories. And why adulthood feels like time goes like faster and longer at the same time, and it's like this one long blurry loop. So there's a reason for that. It's a psychological reason. You're not nuts. Pattern separation. Your brain just doesn't hold on to repetitive, predictable moments. It remembers the disruptions, the times you did something new, exciting, unexpected, random, weird. And the best part is that you don't need to quit your job or move to France to create novelty. Like, I think a lot of people think that that's what's happened. Like, we have to shake things up, but it's like, oh God, I have to create no stability and do something wild and eat, pray, love in my life. That's not true. Micro rebellions, we can call them that, or just mini or whatever, just something different. Small, intentional, rule-breaking moments. That's what we're talking about today. Can really give you that same jolt of feeling aliveness. So rebellion isn't just fun. It's particularly powerful for neurodivergent folks, people who have been bullied, those who have experienced trauma, or anyone who has ever felt misunderstood. Anyone over there raising your hand? Are you listening? Are you raising your hand? Does any of that sound like you? I'm going to tell you why. I'm not just yanking your What do people say? Yanking your chain. Okay, so if you're neurodivergent, ADHD, autism, disorders, all that, the brain stuff. So strict societal norms can feel suffocating for you. Breaking small rules gives you a feeling of more independence and autonomy, a sense of control, and that can be very helpful to regulate you. If you've been bullied or outcast, rebellion is a way to reclaim power. It's a reminder that you get to define your own experience now. Again, a sense of control. For trauma survivors, the nervous system often exists in a state of hyper-awareness, like constantly being like hyper-vigilant, like what's that? Who's that? Put that down. So doing something rebellious, but safe on your own terms, can still provide you this thrilling, empowering sense of agency over your own life. Are you noticing a theme of the agency, the autonomy, the sense of control? And for people who feel misunderstood, rebellion can be a way of asserting your identity. So you get to say, I exist exactly as I am, and I don't need to fit into your mold. And you get to claim different identities. You get to celebrate different parts of yourself that maybe weren't accepted before. You get to wave a flag about them, or you get to celebrate something new. Something I really love about being an adult is just that I think many people forget that, you get to be any kind of adult that you want to be. If you want to own your own house, you can. You don't have to. You can theme your children's bedrooms, and you can also really work for a specific job. But you can also, if you want, sleep until 11 and structure your life that way. You can wear a fanny pack. You can let your gas tank light up to warn you that you're on fumes before you go to refill it. And you can also own a fanny pack and your own house. You can mix and match levels of traditional quote unquote responsibility and grown up, So you're over 18, you're over 21, you're legally an adult, okay? You can vote, drink, gamble, serve in the military, whatever. I mean, you can make decisions for yourself. That's really what's happening. And live your life the way that you want to. I mean, maybe there's certain things that we don't want to have to do that we have to do, right? All these other responsibilities that we didn't know that we were going to have to do, but that's fine. But you also get to do all these other things. We think about going back to childhood and we're like, that sounds nice to not have all these responsibilities, but would you not really want to be able to go where you want to go anymore? I don't know. I still prefer being an adult. All things staying the same. Anyway, what was I saying? If living your life the way you want to, it doesn't matter if self-help books say you're not on track or if your friends are at different stages in their life than you. It doesn't matter if the things you do conflict with what a traditional grown-up would do. I mean, things change so rapidly, too, for what the norms are. Even just the way that we look now. I mean, the age that I am, when I look at pictures of what a 36-year-old person looked like in the 90s or the 80s, they look completely different in terms of, how old they looked. So I don't know. I'm just saying everything changes. There is no norm. Norms change rapidly, so there's no reason to identify yourself with a norm and then judge yourself based on it. Be yourself. That's the only kind of adult I ever want you to be. So we're talking about micro rebellions today. So let's talk about how we actually do this. I have some ways to break the rules in the most fun way. So you can start with just breaking habits and routines. So eat ice cream for breakfast, take a little drive, I think let's start off by saying I don't know, check in with your personality and your comfort zone too. If you already are doing something like this, then you might want to kick it up a notch. But if the idea of going out without a step-by-step timed itinerary sounds crazy, then maybe just put a a bracket in there for driving around only for an hour that's different. You know what I mean? So gauge your plan. I think there's so much advice. This is one of the reasons that I think really good people who are in this area of my job that are somewhere in between self-improvement and philosophers, they're so wary to give out tangible examples of advice because When they do, when we do, they're like, well, you said to eat ice cream for breakfast and I'm diabetic. And it's like, oh my God. Okay. So yeah, this is an example. But also fair. Like, what is another example? So that's why I try to give tangible examples and I try to give multiple options. But I do want to just also address the idea that, like, gauge your comfort level and then just push a little bit beyond it. You know what I mean? So, okay, that being said, let's keep moving forward with breaking your habits and routines. Wear something out of character. So maybe that's doing like more extra to work with like sequins or something. Or maybe it's downplaying it to the store, you know, wearing pajamas, wearing sweats. Is that the thing that's more uncomfortable for you? What would be the more uncomfortable? Like, I guess think about like the most extreme thing that you would be uncomfortable with and then dial that back. Okay. And then you can skip your normal routine. That's something that people say, like your route, you know, to a commute or work and try to find another way to get there. You can stay up late doing something pointless and wonderful. Maybe do that on not a work night. Also, let's go into the idea of I think there's also a list on my website from a long time ago of 50 ways to break your habits and routines. I think that mix up your routines. So that's like a whole other thing. I want to go through different categories though. So the next one is to question convention. I think this is extremely important. So this is going into deeper whys. This is something that I've been doing since I don't know, I can't remember when I didn't do this as a child. To think about why people are doing something and if this is something that needs to be done. So one of the best stories that I ever heard was actually in a sitcom with the 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. And the story was, why do you cut the pan, or why do you cut the roast off at the end, like the last couple inches? And the mom said, like, I asked my grandma because, oh, sorry. I asked my mom, why do you cut the last couple inches off the roast? And she said, because my mom used to do it. So I went and I asked my grandma, why do you cut the last couple inches off the roast? And she said, because my mom used to do it that way. And then I went and asked my great grandma, why do you do that? And she said, because the pan was too small. So the idea is like, why did these rules exist? Who made them? Did they know what they were doing? Or was it just like the best way to do it at the time with what they knew? Because how many times have you realized that like humans are just adults just trying to do their best? And you definitely know that about yourself. And how many times have you just kind of makeshift your way into doing something? And we like to think that people are, you know, really smart and optimizing things, but oh my goodness, so many times that's not the case. So now that doesn't mean that the system that's in place isn't the best option or the best option for you. But you still should question, why? Why does this exist? Why am I doing this? So trends, fads, I don't know, anything at all. Why are you choosing the colors that you're choosing? Why are you wearing this fashion? Why are you participating in this social media thing? Why are you using the vernacular that you are? Why are you living in this area? Why did you choose to get that car? Why did you choose to not move away? Why did you choose to go to this college? Why are you choosing to do the next thing that you're doing? Why are you choosing to stay at this job? Da 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 da. I mean, those are personal things, and then we can get into bigger, like, much bigger things. I don't know. So just you can try experimenting with your own rebellion with like skipping something on purpose. So the next time a trend comes up that you would usually participate in, whether that's music or fashion or social media, you just sit it out. And maybe it would be doing something that's kind of like going against a social norm on purpose. So like blasting music in a crowded area or or a quiet area, or whispering like in a kind of a loud whisper, you know, being like, I have to go to the bathroom, like doing something like kind of weird, you know, channeling Mary. Or really just, I mean, it doesn't have to be like a weird street art performance kind of thing. I think that is a really good way to get chops in thinking about how to how to realize that people don't really care that much, and everything's gonna be fine and the world isn't gonna crumble if you embarrass yourself. But mostly I think this is about not doing things that you think you should do just because everybody else is doing them. Okay, so the next thing is, so we have so far going through habits and routines, and question and convention. The next thing is to look at your traditions and expectations. So, what about like holidays? Let's start about that. Like, how many times have you crammed your life in because you're like a family member or something? Everybody's schedule didn't work out, so you couldn't celebrate like Thanksgiving or something that Thursday, and it just didn't work. But it would have been fine if you did it on the Saturday, you know? So it's like, what if you just did it on Saturday? I don't know. We put so much pressure on ourselves to do certain things. And it's like, who says that it can't be on this Saturday? And I don't even want to get into time. Like, do we really believe that it's like today is Tuesday, that some guy named Tom was like keeping track of the time? I mean, Julius Caesar literally added months into the thing. I don't know. No, I don't think any of this is real. I'm just saying we're putting so much pressure on time to be accurate so that we have Thanksgiving on a Thursday, and it's like, it might not be Thursday, honey. I don't. But just like release some pressure. There's so many of you that listen that are who are caregivers and are like, when you guys talk to me, you're like, I am just really trying to get like 10 minutes to myself because every single block of the day is you know scheduled out, and I'm also trying to get my PhD, and I'm also trying to do this, and I'm also trying to do this because I really like to change the world, and I fucking love that about you. I really do. I can't. So like, you're amazing people. I love this crew. So maybe give yourself a break and don't people please, and let the Thanksgiving be on Thursday, or sorry, on a Friday or whatever. Who cares? And then also maybe make your own tradition. Maybe you get to actually it's March right now. I think it's March 26th is make up your own holiday day. So that could be a goal. But I don't know. One of the things that I do every year is that I go get my picture taken with Santa and the Easter Bunny. And I love it. I love it. Everybody argues that it's super child. Not everybody. That's not true. My mom hates it. And some people think it's weird and childish. I don't care. I love it. And honestly, the more people dislike it, the harder I go with it, because there's a bit of a rebel. A rebel? That's the French part. The rebel in me. But come up with your own tradition. What are the things that you like? And can you do that with yourself or a friend or a family member? And also, I think something to keep in mind here is that don't stop doing it if the person that does it with you stops being in your life. Like when I started doing the Santa photos and the Easter Bunny photos, it was with people who like moved away or I'm not friends with anymore, or boyfriends that like I broke up with, right? And I always made sure to get a photo of just me, except one year. And I will allow people to do it with me. That's fun. But ultimately, the tradition is for me, So you can allow people in and out of your life and your traditions and your love and your whatever. But remember that this is also like your thing too. So what do you want to do? Wear a cape for no reason? I don't know. What is it that you want to do? Make up a day and then once a year do it. Or once a month. Who cares? What is it that you want to do? Also, skip stuff. Like, say no. Just say no. My beautiful caregiver, my beautiful change maker, my beautiful people pleaser. Say no. Skip a family obligation. If you have to lie at first, I'm so bad at lying, but if you have to lie at first or really stretch the truth, oh look, Mitzi just came in. She's blessing this. That's a beautiful blessing. Mitzi just came in. Oh my God. She never does it. She's like crawled up through my legs and looking up at me. It's so cute. You're so cute. I can't. Don't skip any family obligations that involve Mitzi. That would be very rude. But I don't know. How many things are you saying yes to that kind of you don't need to go to, right? So like I'm part of a group right now that we're preparing for something, and I noticed that things were kind of really disorganized, and it was taking a lot more time than I thought that it needed to, and I'm right. There was no kind of like agenda for meetings. There was no set time. There was like everything was kind of being like mashed together every week. And I've made some suggestions for things to expedite and optimize the process. And maybe I look like a bitch doing that. Maybe me suggesting things consistently to kind of project manage things and I'm not at the top of this organization looks very bossy. I don't know, but I also know that my time is valuable and I need to be able to do that, you know? So if I can make sure, yes, Mitzi, if I can make sure that I'm getting, you know, the most out of my time and it's helping everybody else too. I think that's another way to do this too. You know, like you can rewrite your expectations for meetings and say like, look, if I don't need to be here for this whole meeting, I would really love it if we could prioritize my stuff at the beginning so that I can talk and then get out because it doesn't seem like I need to be here for the entire thing. And it seems like there is like a, you know, a pattern of me only needing to speak for about 10 minutes of the 60 minutes. So if that's the case, then I would really appreciate it if I could speak at the beginning. And then if anything else comes up, that you guys can just send me an email and see what they think about that. And then, yeah, skipping stuff that you're going to that you're not really enjoying or participating in. Okay, next thing, contradict who people think you are. Do something that's wildly out of character. So this isn't about going against your values or doing something that you dislike. I don't think you should do that necessarily. I think it's more just about exploring different parts of you. And like sometimes we get kind of pigeonholed. We get thought of in our little corner of the world, even if it's online, as this kind of person. I'm the kind of person who does this but doesn't do this. And it's now she's reaching her paw up to my belly button. This is insane. It's so cute. And I don't know, I think we feel like, oh, well, I can't really talk about this because I'm never really somebody who does talk about that. And I couldn't really wear that because this kind of person doesn't really wear that. So what if you just, I don't know, there's definitely a part of you that you could express more. And maybe it would be really fun to try that. Even if it's just around the house. Maybe do a photo shoot. Maybe write an essay. Who knows? What about your own perception? Like, are you actually introverted? Or is that how people see you? Are you actually bossy? Or is that how people see you? Are you actually fill in the blank? Or is that just how people see you? And then you have kind of also adopted that. Also, what kind of expectations do you have for yourself that you could leave? How could you go against your own expectations? That's a pretty philosophical question. Okay, then give yourself permission to abandon responsibilities. Take a mental health day. Don't feel guilty about it. Take your kid out of school for an impromptu adventure. Let yourself do something, quote, unproductive because it feels good. And also, even though I just said abandon responsibilities, I want you to also understand that you get to be the kind of adult you want, and that doing something fun or, quote, childish does not mean that you're negating your responsibilities. So it's okay if you pay your bills on time and also put 2 sumo suits on your credit card. It's okay if you call your parents regularly and also text sassy gifts to your friends as responses to questions. It's okay if you write thank you notes and also mail strangers envelopes full of glitter. It's okay if you take vitamins and also eat sugary kid cereal directly out of the box for dinner. It's okay if you pay your taxes and also write a letter to your senator in pig Latin saying how much you really don't want to pay your taxes. It's okay if you use contraception and have safe sex and get tested and also have wild sex 10 times a week. It's okay if you use a day planner and also spray glitter on yourself every single day. It's okay if you have a secure job with benefits and also a ball pit in your basement. It's okay if you get regular checkups with doctors and also insist on receiving stickers, toys, and lollipops before you leave. It's okay if you invest in stocks and bonds and also pay for things in $2 bills and fists full of coins. It's okay if you plan for your retirement and also plan for a Disney cruise, even if you don't have kids. It's okay if you know first aid and CPR and also know all the places in town to get ice cream after midnight. It's okay if you iron your business casual clothing and also wear tutus and sparkly flats and giant floppy hats. It's okay if you have a lawyer and also attend protests to support issues that you're passionate about. It's okay if you get excited about vacuum cleaner attachments and always sing the words to Baby Got Back when you hear it come on. It's okay if you clip coupons and letters out of magazines to make ransom note love letters. It's okay if you buy diapers, condiments, and light bulbs in bulk and pest dispensers in bulk so that you have them in every room of the house as well as your car and office. It's okay if you dedicate days to cleaning your house and also spend days eating cookies in bed and speaking in an English accent to your pets. It's okay if you balance your checkbook and also balance beam walk across bricks instead of walking on the sidewalk. It's okay if you wake up early every day and also change your sound to the theme song from DuckTales so that you can dance upon entering consciousness. There's no right way to do this. Let it be fun, hun. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to commit one small rebellion this week. Something that makes you feel a little more alive. Something that makes you feel like a teenager. Maybe. Sneak candy into a movie theater. Stay up late watching something dumb. Have a spontaneous photo shoot, dye your hair, go busking on the street, eat an entire meal of junk food, make your life feel a little irresponsible, a little indulgent, a little more fun. You know, we actually have a whole module on teenage self-love in the Merriment Makers. I love teenage self-love. I'm just thinking about lockers and all the collages on the rooms. I love looking at teenage bedrooms. It's like, you know how it was just like our room. That's all we had, and we would just put up posters, and it was like just an altar to our minds. Anyway, when you do this, when you go do your act of rebellion, I want to hear about it. Tell me about it. DM me, tag me on Instagram at Merriment Maker, or you know what? Better yet, come share it in the Positive Pulse. I told you about it. We are officially open on a brand new platform and climbing new members every day. And if this whole concept of rebellion and fun lights something up in you, then I think take the next step and come over to the Merriment Makers. We have 30 full modules, and then one of them is on fun. And like I said, we touch much more on, there's like 4 different masterclasses on fun. And in I think it's the third one, we talk about rebellion much more. And there's more than 30 resources in just the fun module. There's 1,500 resources in the Merriment Makers, and there's more all the time. There's like 40 new ones about every 10 days. It's crazy. So yeah, we also have stuff on adventure, play, pleasure, teenage self-love. Oh, so much good stuff. And right now it's never been more reasonably priced, and you can get your first month for almost half off. Okay, that's it. Go break some tiny rules, my Merriment Makers, and remember, you have to feel good to do good.